right, guys, we are back and we have got a doozy here. I am excited to see how this one turns out. I am playing in Piotr from Discord. His Steam tag is a little different, but we rolled for sides. I think we both normally prefer Rebels, and I rolled the Imps, and so we got an exciting Imperial game here, and no spoilers, but it is riddled with mistakes by me, and it ends up being quite the epic game. So, really quick with the starting loyalties, pretty standard. We have a subjugated Corellia. We have the the systems that I really prefer getting as Imperials. I think the three most important systems to start with are Sullust, Rhodia, and Seleucami, just because of the way it allows you to split your fleets around the map. And now, here, what I tend to do as the player is I like to put the Death Star in Coruscant and knowing that what I'll probably do is bring the Star Destroyer to Mon Cal. And that way I have a Star Destroyer and a Death Star on the left side of the map, and I have two Star Destroyers on the right side of the map, so I'm pretty balanced there. I'm okay letting him subjugate Megiddo for free, especially considering I have a loyal Solus. But one thing I've noticed with the Imperials is that it is pretty easy to catch up on ground troops if you notice a turn or two before, hey, I need to catch up on ground troops, because all it takes really is, by turn three, at least by turn five, you probably have a presence on all three yellow circle systems. So that's three ATSTs a build, and you get those right away. And then if you do an address delay or a construct factory to get an AT into play, all of a sudden, with a few ATSTs and an AT-AT and possibly a planetary conquest. I mean, it's really hard to think of a rebel base that can stand up to that, especially if they're playing the base deck with which most rebels are sane people, and so they play the base deck. It's a little bit easier with the rote rebel deck to hold ground because you have plant explosives, you have assault, you have reconnaissance to get back base defenses, and so you have quite a few more plays. And also the thing about having the Death Star, you see I started here with just a little ATST. It's okay with it having a weaker ground force there, because it allows me to have three very complete ground forces with my full fleets, with my Star Destroyer AC fleets. And the Death Star is the only unit that the Imperials have that no matter what the ground is, they can still take out the Rebel base. You just draw a nifty little laser, and that's all taken care of. So I'm starting to get nervous here. It looks like he's toying around with some business on Ord. Now, I'm thinking he might have threatened the core, and so I'm immediately going, I'm okay if he attacks Coruscant. If he attacks Coruscant, I haven't given him a chance to score Rebel Assault or Crippling Blow there. What I'm worried about is threaten the core, but because he's only put 4 ground units, I can always move that Death Star in without the ground so that I don't risk a confrontation, take out his 3 space forces, and leave him with only 4 in Ord, which is not enough to score threaten the core. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, that might be what I have to do. After subjugating Naboo and Mon Cal, I might just have to wipe out this space. And because I'm playing base deck, I really hope that I can draw trade negotiations turn one, so that I could, if he puts himself in a position where he has to move first action, then I can trade negotiations U to POW and make his life pretty miserable. Now, here's my first mistake of the game. It's really hard for me to pass up Mahdi. Um, I'm sort of seeing if making sure that he doesn't have any immediates to inform my decision. It's really hard for me to pass up Mahdi, but I really think that I should here because he's put himself in a position where I'm probably going to have to respond to this fleet in Ord. And that's going to be an extra move. And if I draw any good missions and I don't have the last action, like Fear will keep them in mind or Imperial propaganda, it's going to be harder to punish him. And so I believe this is my first mistake of the game is taking Mahdi. Um, it just feels good for me when I have the base deck to be up a leader. But I really think I should have resisted here, drawn a different starting action card, and saved myself an extra move turn one. So the base has been chosen, and sure enough, there is propaganda turn one, and I'm starting to realize, oh, but then he goes and plays temporary alliance. So this is a time where I kind of got bailed out because now we are even on actions, and as long as as long as his other action card isn't false orders, then it looks like I might be able to stop the bleeding a little bit here on turn one. So I like to see that. I like Leia going on a mission. It'll make it a little bit harder for him to block my propaganda. I almost always like to keep Leia back turn one, especially if I don't have false order, because she's just too good at blocking those vital loyalty missions. And he's not going to need really um, tactic prowess in whatever battle's coming up. Either he stays put and I attack with the Death Star, and the rerolls aren't really going to help you against the Death Star turn one, or he's planning to attack and take Megiddo right out of the gate, and he doesn't really need the tactics for that. So what I like to do is even if I'm planning to attack turn one, I keep Leia back, um, and I wait to see what missions the Imperial player does, and if it looks like, if it feels like, if the clues are pointing me toward something that Leia might need to block, and then I might just forgo the attack. That's why it's good to, as rebels, put yourself in a position turn one where it's not vital that you attack first. Because say, he didn't get temporary alliance and I got trade negotiations or something and he attacked first, now he's in big trouble. But the fleet, the force that he has in Ord is vital. He has a speeder there. He has his Corvette there. Those are very, very valuable units to a rebel player, and he might not get an opportunity to build another Corvette with this Imperial propaganda turn one, and so you want to be really careful about risking those vital units. And I'm very happy that he doesn't false order me here and that he opens up with an attack. Now I'll be able to wait out his build alliance in U to POW and turn off that whole sector without even having to move. I'm fully prepared. So if he does a retreat play here, yeah, I don't know why maybe he's planning on doing a retreat play here to score threat in the core. I feel I'm nervous about this airspeeder. Airspeeders, you only get two of them as a rebel player, and they are so valuable, not just for defending your base, but if you ever want to lead the strike team and score a crippling blow, or anything like that. If you're lucky enough to get one or two more speeders, then they're so good as a unit because they can heal each other. You get the extra red dice. If you get a generator, then you can just do a string of healing. And it looks like he's staying put. He just blows up my trooper. Again, something he probably didn't have to do because it, it whether um, if he didn't blow up my trooper and he just stayed put, maybe he ends up with one trooper there. Regardless, Megiddo's going to be blockaded, and instead now he's missing a very good um, combat card. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said I like to move the Star Destroyer to Mon Cal, but here I'm adjusting because I see he is really threatening this corner of the map. And right away, I'm suspicious. Okay, he's in Ilum, he's in Dantooine. I got to get over there. So my plan is to keep this Star Destroyer in Seleucami free so that, brutal. And here's the propaganda. And now, I just have to hope he doesn't have a contingency plan. So my plan is to move this Star Destroyer down to Mandalore. And by moving it down to Mandalore, I really don't want him to do this in Toydaria. Yeah, I might have even moved to Toydaria. So the plan now is to take this Star Destroyer down to Mandalore in order to battle back for Megiddo. And because he left that airspeeder behind, he's not even able to score like a crippling blow with this Megiddo force. And if he wants to save that space and keep Megiddo blockaded, he's going to have to leave one of the troopers behind anyway. And so it's just a situation where I'm not quite sure what the speeder and trooper left behind in Ord is accomplishing. He could have taken those to Megiddo. They also give him more flexibility. Say, had he wanted to do an escape plan retreat to Dantooine to give himself some distance from the Death Star, he needed to bring all the troops. But now, anytime he wants to retreat, he's going to have to go back to Ord. And I'm laboring over this decision here because I really don't like abandoning the Kessel Nalhutta area of the map. And this might be another mistake. I can always wait. I can always wait to get some more ground with the Death Star, to deploy an assault carrier there. I wished I had moved to Toydaria to get the assault carrier turn one. Two probes. Kashyyyk. Kashyyyk is not bad to get. I like getting Kashyyyk. It saves you from ever having to really move there. And I draw Planetary Conquest. So another two very good missions, and I get Ozzel. Catch them by surprise. So far, the missions and the leaders have definitely been looking good for me. Now, the problem with my opening is I did really no moves to put myself in a good position. So now I'm going to be scrambling a little bit to get to Utapau by next build, to cover Mustafar Bespin, Cato by next build, and to make sure that I get some presence in the Hutt region by next build. So by taking Mahdi, by doing this move to Mandalore, I've really kind of made things a tad difficult on myself as far as the moves that I have to do over the next two turns. So I'm really hoping having Mahdi as the extra leader can bail me out. My build queue is looking pretty pathetic. And I'm sort of plotting out my attacks here. I'd like to free Megiddo. I really need to rush now too. And because I took so long getting to Utapau, one thing that happens is if you don't have a presence in Naboo or Geo turn 2, what you're doing is putting yourself in a position where you have to move toward Utapau turn 2, and then on turn 3, you're very susceptible to things like a plan the assault on your Star Destroyer in Naboo, or a lead strike team on your force in Naboo. These sorts of things that can mess with you in Naboo or Geo turn 3, I misspoke, not turn 2, turn 3, because you can't let them have Utapau again. You can't let them get more Mon Cals and more Nebulon frigates. And so that's one thing to always keep in mind when you delay these moves toward Utapau is, for example, if I were in Naboo this turn and he opens up with a Rogue Squadron raid or a Plan the Assault, I can afford to block that because I still have next turn to get to Utapau. But now I'm going to be in a position where I really have to scoot, and I'm really not happy to see Han because that totally mitigates the advantage I was hoping to have with Mahdi. Really good draw for him. I don't know if what his other option was, but it was good for him to take it. And now I'm also really not happy to see Leia's action card. So he got the two best starting action cards for sure, and I can only assume that's established trade relations. So now we're gonna be in catch-up mode trying to get some ships on the queue. One thing to remember also is he didn't infiltrate turn 1. He did a sabotage, but he had to sabotage Seleucami, and it's not. I just think he probably would have preferred that had been an infiltrate. I guess depending on the objective he got, but I always see infiltrates as really important during the level 1 objectives because there's so many bad draws. You could be in a position where just some of them are unscorable. Defensive position. I think I talked in the last video, or maybe 2 videos ago, about how even when you can score defend the people, I feel like it's never worth it because of the units it costs you. And the number of things that can go wrong. Threaten the core sometimes can be unscorable. In a situation like this, he's probably never going to score support of the huts. So you just really want to be on top of infiltrating through those level 1 objectives and making sure that not only you only get the good ones, but that you get to the level 2s quicker because those level 2s are really powerful. You got 3 2-point level 2s, and the level 2s especially benefit from the element of surprise in getting them quickly. Raid outposts, Rebel Cell, Heart of the Empire, even the Death Star plans, getting those very early and being able to execute them before the Empire is able to get their defenses ready or adjust or get to the systems that they need to. That can be very vital. So right here, again, interesting move. This again looks like a attempt to score threaten the core. And I feel pretty good about, what is that, 2 troopers and a speeder versus 2 ATSTs, 2 troopers, and a tank. I'm going to rule by fear in Corellia. I like doing, yep, and there we go. There's the established trade relations. Whew. So time to get busy. Now I want to wait out. It's a bit of a mistake. I want to wait out his build alliance. Yeah, okay, I noticed that. I want to use tag ultimately to do this attack on Ord. Okay, I think I should have waited there. It's possible he could have maybe built alliance there. I guess by taking away this option, now I'm making it easier for Palpatine to block the build alliance. And I'm bringing the Death Star, and I want to bring tag because there's always a chance, because you have the Death Star and you can't retreat, that something bad could happen. you could get confronted, and Tag is definitely my most expendable leader. Uh, so I feel pretty good about this. I'm getting 3 black, 2 red, and 2 green against this force. Um, I just need to make sure to. Okay, so I'm wondering here whether or not I should bring the trooper. I don't bring the trooper ultimately because I think that I'm fine with the units that I have, and I probably should be. I probably should be. We'll see how this battle goes. I can take out the speeder quite easily with the ATST card, and then good job, Tag. Not too shabby. And then I really want to take out this transport because I don't want him canceling my ground card. And Rican rolls the heel. Very unfortunate. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but there's just a lot of potential for this Corvette to just cause an annoyance. So I really wish that that had succeeded. And now here, I don't even hate, you know, I feel pretty confident I'm going to be able to do some damage. So I'm not even against flipping the battle here. We'll see what I end up doing. And this is a bit of a mistake, I think, doing 2 black damage. Okay, he uses tow cables. So far he's used his 2 best ground combat cards, tow cables and hold them back. And that is not what you want to see. That is not what you want to see. Can't even heal the ATSD. So a black hit is blocked and blanks. I should have flipped. Or done the ATST card. Maybe you could call that being greedy. Maybe that's just a little bit of inexperience with the rebels. And then he rolls incredible roll. So now what went from me being like, oh, this is gonna be no problem. Now all of a sudden is I am in trouble. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't stay because I'm pretty sure at this point Tag is a dead man. Um, just just feel like that roll was my roll was particularly bad and his was particularly good. But that's kind of why you like maybe flipping the battle is better there because it just gives you so many more good rolls. He's wondering about whether to retreat. I point out he has to do Megiddo because he left troops there. I don't know if that works for him. And now again, he can bring the speeder. Instead, he brings no ground. Bring the speeder. He, you could get. It looks like he's not going to infiltrate again this turn, but you could get crippling blow and opening up then with an attack next turn. You might be able to score that. I don't know. Here now, I'm kind of grasping at straws. I'm grateful to get the crit. Just hoping that I can end the combat this turn. We'll see how he rolls. Oof, oof, oof. So he wipes everything. Another good roll by him, and that kind of I don't know. This is for sure mistake number 2. I don't know if bringing that trooper would have worked if it was the combat card, but now I'm in a position where I have nothing on the left side of the map. I also think that I didn't necessarily need to even bring any ground if I wasn't super confident about my ground force. I could have just brought in the Star Destroyer to take out his space. I could have done something. Of course, this is a position too where, okay, yes, so that is the he does a build loyalty. So again, two first two turns he hasn't infiltrated once. So the silver lining here is I'm hoping, and there's a good chance that his objectives are just not good, and he's not going to be getting the Death Star plans anytime soon. Um, I really don't want to have to move to Cato now. I really want to. Hmm. So I'm taking a bit of a risk here because he doesn't have. So he built a U-wing turn one, and I like building a Y-wing turn one because what he could do then is he could put a Y-wing in Utapau, and he could open up with an attack. Say he recruits Chirrut or with Baze's loyalty, he could open up with a U-wing, blow up one of the assault carriers, and then use the Y-wing bomber card to take out the other assault carrier, and then he gets Utapau a third time. So that's a possibility. He also could get a hit and run. Now, the reason why I'm moving these at two assault carriers is because I didn't move to Toyodaria turn one, and so I'm very susceptible to hit and runs because I only have these little assault carriers. So had I moved a Star Destroyer to Naboo, then a hit and run could get him Bespin or Mustafar, or if he does it in Bothawi, it could get him Nalhutta or Toydaria. And so I really needed to keep my two weak ships together in Naboo and then keep my stronger Star Destroyers at these focal points. And now, again, with the Fear Will Keep Them in mind, the missions have been good for me. Hopefully, I'm able to use them to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit. And now because I brought the Death Star to Ord, which I probably shouldn't have, I have this AT that would have been good to put in Coruscant and then take Ord this turn. Something like that probably would have been a better use of my resources. Okay, so here we have Lord Vader's orders. And I see Rebel Cell, Defend the People, and Regional. This might be mistake number 3. um, Sometimes Rebel Cell can be a dead draw because if he doesn't have a good place to put it, if I can make sure to subjugate any of his systems, or if I'm right knocking on the door of one of his systems and he doesn't have a turn to utilize it, then it just ends up being a wasted objective. So my thinking here is, okay, I'm looking at two pretty good objectives. Okay, so my thinking is give me a turn to cover Rebel Cell. So I give him the 2 level 1s, knowing he'll probably be taking regional. That's fine. I can start to play around that. He's not close to scoring it anywhere. And with Tarkin's mission, I am going to make sure that he doesn't. And now what I should be thinking of here is, and I think I do consider it with deployment, is because he has Jin, there's always a choice that it's trust in the Force. So I don't want to give him any good systems where there's just a tank or just a trooper on a subjugated system, because that can cause you quite a headache too, even if it's just to have to move to cover a system where he might try deploying. I'm going to drop this AT-AT probably, wouldn't mind dropping the tank and Mod Cal just to give myself a little presence there. And yeah, the AT-AT and Both weak, because I'm a little bit weak up there. Tank should probably be going to Solus. That's all right. That's all right. I just want to get out all my units. There's no sense in keeping them on the queue. You build enough troopers over the course of a game. Fear Will Keep Them in mind is definitely happening. So what I'm going to do here is, I like doing this, is try to plan out the moves that I have to do. I have to move to Utapau. I really want to just move to Felucia, move to Geo. I should move to Geo as well because I'm trying to prepare for Rebel Cell over the next 2 turns. And then I really need to start running some shipbuilding missions. I got I got a construct factory. I think I already put it down. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be running a construct factory. I'll hold on to the planetary because I can probably block. I can either block any system that he tries to get loyalty in, either with the Emperor or by moving. And here, okay, I'm not sure why he's doing this. I'm not sure why he's doing this. So one thing that's a positive here is I've set myself up so that there's nowhere he can build loyalty that I can't just immediately subjugate it. And now with the last action, barring a contingency plan, that's looking like inevitability. One thing that's happened, you'll notice so far that Piotr, he hasn't really put any effort into blocking my missions, and it looks like he's not going to do it either. It looks like Han is probably going to be attacking with this little Megiddo force. So I like that. It's giving me a lot of freedom to run missions unopposed. Even if it's layback, I know, okay, that might be, there's a chance that he might be looking to block. Now, the only way I'm in trouble is if he opens with a hit and run in Naboo and then builds loyalty in Geo. And if that's the case, I don't know. I might have to move the Star Destroyer to Tatooine, check Tatooine, and then Fear will keep them in line there in order to turn off Ryloth and Geo. That's a possibility. Um, right now, my hope is I would love to play Fear will keep them in line in Bothawui so that I can check Kessel and Nalhutta because I've been pretty weak in those areas. But if you notice, I only gave myself 3 moves. So if I block a loyalty and move to Utapau, that's 2 of my moves right there. And now it's looking like I need to cover Mandalore as well because he's freed it with this Megiddo force. And I really want this Corvette dead. It's being a pain in my side. Regan rolling that heel last turn and everything. And so, yeah, he's blocking black hits. So now I've left myself in a position where I don't have any extra moves to deal with Mandalore and to deal with wherever he builds loyalty. And it's a bit risky trying to block Mothawee with Palpatine because if Mothma wins in a vital system, now I'm in trouble. If she wins like in Mustafar, then I'm going to have to move to Mustafar. So right now my thought is I'm not going to block whatever build loyalty Mothma's on. I'm just going to move there to subjugate it and hopefully still be able to use Fear will keep them in line in the Hutt region, just so I don't have to get all the way over to Kessel and I can kind of breathe a sigh of relief that nothing fishy is going on in those systems. That's something where, if you think about there's a mission like Fear will keep them in line, a lot of times I'll see people use it just to try and get more ships up, to get extra loyalty to build ships. And I, um, I think about it like if I can use Fear will keep them in line to check 2 systems, that saves me 2 moves. And also, it really puts him in a hard position for scoring something like Support of the Hutt, which it's very likely he has. He's drawn three objectives right off the top. Now he's going, so this will be his first infiltrate. So now he sees Would I left him defend the people, regional? He can shuffle them, but I'm 99.9% positive he'll be taking regional. And now we'll do the gather intel. It's a little bit of a test too to see if Leia's on subversion. Doesn't appear like it. And again, this probably didn't need to be done. Let's see what we get. Get Bespin and Utapau. Okay. So far we've drawn Toydaria, Moncal, Bespin, Utapau, and Kashyyyk. None of those likely base spaces. And then he does a plant false leads. So this is I'm of two minds of this. Plant false leads is such a powerful mission. I played a game the other day that I 100% should have lost, and then right as he moved a super, super, super duper Star Destroyer and 4 Star Destroyers right outside the base, I plant false leads, get 3 crappy probes and Hoth, and I'm able to hit and fleet a stacked base to Hoth where he just has nothing. It's it's that kind of power. Now, in this situation where my probes have been terrible and I'm actually not really in a good position to check some of these systems, it ends up being a really sneaky good play. Now, it's hard for me to say, is it better or worse? Would it have been better for Riken to be on what Leia's on? I'll say this. Now I'm not worried about plant false leads. So now once I have cards, I can abandon those systems. I don't have to leave troops behind. I don't have to worry about shenanigans happening at the end of the game. None of that stuff. I am feeling super confident that I will be able to handle the late game base move potential. But because my probes have been so bad, man, that really hurt. Him playing the plant false leads and knowing I'm going to redraw Moncal and Bespin and Utapau really, really hurts. I do this move here to Geo with Vader, and I do it preemptively because I'm worried about um, Chewie being on hit and run. And if Chewie is on hit and run, then he could possibly get Geo. In retrospect, I think that was a mistake, and this is why. Okay, so Chewie does in a hit and run in Naboo. If he does a hit and run in Naboo, then I know there's no sabotage coming. So then I can play my construct factory, and I can wait out his build alliance and then try to block it with Palpatine if it's in Geo. And if I fail, worst case scenario, I move to Tatooine, check a good system, and turn off 2 of his loyalty. All of those things I should have thought through about, hey, maybe the hit and run in Naboo isn't the worst thing. So instead, I put myself in a position where I've committed one of my very limited leader movements to get to Geo when there wasn't really any need to get to Geo. Say he puts the Rebel cell next turn in Ryloth. I still have time to get there. I have the planetary, etc., etc. Now, because I'm not really sure. Oh, I see. He is trying to kill Ozil. Okay, okay. This might be a little, but because he, I see, he's wondering whether or not to try and kill Ozil. Okay. I don't love this. It's a pretty low probability play because I still have my Destroy a Trooper card, and he's spent his two best combat cards, and Ozil is on defense. So maybe if you want to kill Ozil, it's better to wait. No, 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 no. I almost gave him the kill. Just let it die. Heals are may. Damage has to be assigned. Heals may be assigned. And so I see that coming. I mean, it was a valiant effort by him to try and kill Ozzel, and that would have been devastating if Ozzel had died. But instead, I'll just let him do that situation. And yeah, now I'm in a little bit of a tough spot. So we should do the R&D here. We should do the R&D. I actually don't think we should do it on Corellia. We should do the R&D on Rhodia. And the reason why that is because I'm guessing now that Chewie is on a sabotage. Good projects. Superstar Destroyer and Interdictor. I don't mind the super here. Um, the nice thing about the super is I don't know about that. I don't know about that. The thing about the super is it's immune to the really good base rebel cards, um, like Rogue Squadron Raid, and I guess Interdictor is immune to demolition as well. But what are you going to do? You're going to put 2 liters on Interdictor to get it out right away. I'm really surprised I did that. I don't normally value the Interdictor so well, but this is why I was saying I should have done my R&D on Rhodia. Because if I do my R&D on Rhodia, then he likely does the sabotage in Corellia. And then I can construct factory in Rhodia and in Coruscant. And then I can construct factory in Coruscant and get extra value out of the construct factory. And instead, what I'm allowing him to do is take away another one of my ATST sources because I don't want to use a construct factory and Bothawed it when I could use it to get a Star Destroyer. So I should have thought about that a little bit more, done the R&D and Rhodia, and then opened him up for a little tricky construct factory. Risky to block this because I only have one move. So I just got to let this happen. And now I'm thinking, okay, I have put myself in a position with the way I have played this turn to give him either Mandalore or Cato. And I don't like that. I don't like giving the rebels units. I don't think you should give the rebels units. So I sit here and I think a long time about this and I try to hatch some harebrained scheme. Now, I'm not too worried about the safety of the Death Star at the moment because I've seen all of the objectives he has coming up. He's not infiltrated very much. And so the Death Star can just chill out for a couple of turns. And I'll know if he gets it next turn because it's up against Rebel Cell, which is an immediate. So if he sends away Rebel Cell, I'll know, okay, he might have the Death Star plans. So here I think and I think and I think and I think and I do this probably needlessly complicated maneuver. So here it is. I I don't know. I don't know. I still think it probably would have been better to just give him Mandalore and move to Cato. I'm a little bit reluctant to do that because I haven't drawn Endor or Hoth, and I would like him to not get builds in the future on Mustafar and Bespin. So I come up with this convoluted scheme. I don't know if any of you saw this, but I have to bring the Star Destroyer, and the plan is to the plan is to save as many TIE fighters as I can, and yet take out the Corvette. So I'll block black hits. He blocks red hits. Huh. So the wilds are nice because the wilds can be done anywhere, or the directs. I sound like Wombat. Um, So I have plenty of damage to take everything out, but I'm going to put one damage on the Corvette. And remember, he's already used his cancel card for space combat. And so I know as long as I can keep some TIE fighters alive, I can use my TIE fighter card next turn to make sure that the Corvette dies. And the blocking black hits, so I feel confident that the TIE fighters will survive. And he's confused, rightfully so. This is a little bit me trying to play 4D chess. He's curious about my intention, and again, rightfully so. And we'll just hope that he rolls just a couple of black hits. Not not sure why he isn't rolling. Nothing affects his roll. Um, yeah, and just two black hits. And then there's the heal. Does one red damage. The oh yeah, so he might not have realized I can. He could have rerolled the black hit. So the plan here is retreat with the Star Destroyer. Now, because he has a unit in Megiddo, and because he has a unit in Ord, those are not valid retreat paths. So I can retreat to any other adjacent system and leave the TIE fighters. And now the hope is that these TIE fighters can take out the Corvette and at least one of them survive so that I can blockade Mandalore. And now I can use Fear will keep them in line to get loyalty off of Cato. So it's, I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know if it would have been better still to do this on Bothawi. Okay, so he's retreating. Mandalore, it's fine. The intention has been accomplished, and now Tarkin can make sure that I can get some ground on this side of the map and make sure that he doesn't get Kato while not pulling my Solist Star Destroyer 2 out of the way. Because remember, right now I'm worried about Endor. Now we're just brought back to drawing probes. I get Utapau and Bespin back. I'm pretty happy here actually to see Veers because he has Chewie, he has Han, he has a lot of fists that could potentially block my planetarium. Remember, I'm trying to make sure that he doesn't get any value out of Rebel Cell. And so now I can get some ground on Alderaan, link that up with the Death Star, take back Megiddo, and start clearing out this lower section of the map. Um, as I'm thinking back on it, I'm trying to think, it's costing me a lot of moves, but we're an hour into the video, we're an hour into the game, and he hasn't scored anything. He's not really close to scoring anything as far as I can tell, and it's possible even that beyond regional support, his objectives are very bad because he hasn't been infiltrating much. So I feel like I'm going to be able to outvalue him here, even though I haven't made much progress in finding where the base is. My plan is to continue to draw probes, and his base is relatively weak. He's lost. He's going to lose his Corvette. He's lost a speeder. He's probably not going to get any more speeders because he already used established trade relations. And so I know ground wise, I feel pretty confident ground wise. It's a matter of am I going to be able to draw the probes I need to? And now here we go with under the radar. he gets to look at some probes here and determine, you know, when I'm so desperate for good probes, this is especially painful because he did plant false leads. He saw that my probes weren't good. And now if these probes are good, he's going to be able to pop them all on the bottom of the deck. And it's going to be even longer until, and then there they go right on top. And I know right away, those are not going to be the probes that I want to find. And so I'm feeling a little hopeless. He has Cassian. He's going to be able to block my gather intel attempts. And he knows that my probes are awful. And so we're gearing up here for turn 4. And if any of you guys play Imperials, you have any sort of affinity for the Imperials, I want to warn you ahead of time. This is going to be a painful turn. I don't know if this is just me. I'm happy with the missions I've gotten. The missions have kind of kept me in the game. Without Imperial propaganda and fear will keep them in line, I probably don't have a prayer. But because the missions are bad, because the probes are bad, and because the combats have gone badly, especially that ground combat in Ord, I'm in a position where I'm going to have to spend extra units in order to uh, check the systems that I need to check. And so while I'm hopeful that I can outvalue him and stop him from scoring objectives, I really am starting to feel a little overwhelmed. The game has been going on a long time. It's shown no signs of speeding up. And as far as the leaders he has, for the base deck, he has some scary leaders. With Chewie being able to run Demolition, with Han being able to run a lead the strike team, and with Cassian able to run Covert Operation. These 3 fist, 3 blue icon leaders are so good for the base deck. And so my hope is just keep drawing probes, and eventually the probes will stop being bad and you'll start getting some good ones, because the way the game is panned out, I think my key to discovering the base is going to come from probes and not from moving and subjugating systems, especially for this left side of the board. I do think if I had stuck to the plan, if I had let him chill on Megiddo, he wasn't going for threaten the core turn 1 with the way he played it. If I had let him chill on Megiddo, moved my assault carrier to Toydaria, and moved the Star Destroyer to Mon Cal, by this point, the Mon Cal would have moved to Felucia, taken Mandalore again, and I would have gotten that assault carrier turn 1. I really think that would have been the better play. I should have stuck to my guns, and oftentimes that is my experience as the Empire and playing the Empire, that if you let the rebels get in your head too much and get you off what is a high probability over the long term better play, that's where things start to get messy. So turn 1, move the Star Destroyer to Mon Cal, move the Assault Carrier to Toydaria, get the Assault Carrier build turn 1. You're a lot more flexible, less susceptible to the hit and run. You don't do some of these unnecessary movements. You're able to use Tarkin's mission in the hot region because you have an Assault Carrier and Sullust to move to Cato. There's this cascading effect that happened. You keep the Death Star in Coruscant for a little bit longer, deploy the AT-AT with it, and then take Ord with a sizable ground force. All of these things would have led, I think, to a better outcome. So looking back, that's what I wished that I had done. And then on top of that, I would have been a lot more balanced throughout the regions of the map. So here, okay. I see what's going on. So this is part of my desperation. So you'll see he's got, is he set? I don't think he's set. He's got 3 leaders back and a lot of blue icons. And I want to be drawing probes and I want to shuffle things up. So I'm thinking I might just do an all out. Let's just get as many probes as we can. I have an intercept transmission. I have a draw them out. Lots of ways. Is that a very high value play to be doing right now? It could be. It could be. I'm really hoping that I can mix up the deck and because I have a feeling the probes he put back on top are not good and get to some of those better probes. And intercept transmission mixes up the probe deck. So if I run an intercept transmission, shift up the probe deck, and then do a gather intel, maybe I can draw some better probes and I'll have a better idea of where I need to be shifting my focus to. Wow. So there goes Jan, and there goes Cassian. So I don't need to draw them out. It looks like he's not going to be able to block any blue missions. So I'm thinking, hey, let's go nuts. And I gave you fair warning. This is going to be a pretty painful turn. I let's see. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 loyalty. I'm not really sure why I'm running a rule by fear. I know he has regional support, so I guess he could try to score that in Mustafar or Bespin with a contingency plan. Maybe that's what I'm thinking, but that means he's running build alliance with Leia. I could block. So he opens up with a plan the assault. It's interesting. This looked like it was a last minute decision from him. Uh, so I send Palpatine. Now I'm not hoping to block with Palpatine. Um, I don't even come close to blocking. I'm hoping to save this Star Destroyer because it looks like he's trying to score Rebel Assault. So I still have my block 2 red hits. He's bringing quite a lot of stuff. Interesting. So I wonder why he's bringing the X-Wing. Instead of bringing the other X-Wing, he should be bringing a Y-Wing because I'm going to be able to block 2 red hits. And sure, he can do 2. Oh, he flips. Huh. Did he already use his Y-Wing card? I don't think so. So I feel pretty confident here. I'm blocking 2 red hits. He only rolls 3 red dice and 2 green dice. So I'm just going to do as much damage as I can. Oh, he's removing damage. So I can even heal. This is great. And he rolls, drum roll please. Wow. Yeah. So he gets 2 crits and 3 red hits, 3 crits. So he does 4 damage. Now I have 4 red dice to roll a heal. And do I even want to risk it? Um, I can take out everything but the Moncal. I'm feeling sick. I can't believe he got 3 crits and 3 red hits on 3 red dice and 2 green dice. So sick. And so I'm kind of just wondering, should I cut my losses? Does he even have Rebel Assault? I mean, he's done 1 infiltrate. And so I just cut my losses. I'm happy to take out the Nebulon. And sure enough, he does have Rebel Assault. Um, wild, wild. And this turn is just beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on, dear horses. So yeah, he definitely. I don't think he used his Y-wing card. He definitely should have used his Y-Wing card, and if he was going to use the Nebulon card, he should have flipped. Um, so now I've just wasted Palpatine. I've lost the Star Destroyer. The Star Destroyers are already limited, few and far between, and now he retreats to Toydaria. He's going to be able to build alliance there and just make my life miserable. Um, on top of that, my plan of drawing a bunch of probes has now been diminished to just drawing one probe. Um, it doesn't sound like a lot going from 2 to 1, but you have to remember I'm pretty desperate at this point. So this is the plan. I don't expect him to be in Ryloth. I'm trying to move to get Imperial units in as many systems as possible because I just wanna thin out the probe deck. Remember, there's no more plant false leads. Any probes I can thin out are good. Let's see what Cassian is up to. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. Maybe I should have attacked the Corvette. I'm a little bit flustered, can you tell? I think I didn't want to attack the Corvette because I want to bring the Death Star to Mandalore. I'm guessing that is my plan. So now I'm carrying on with my hope. You know, I'm not checking Dagobah here, but I'm setting myself up for an intercept, which forces him to give me, of the 8 probes off the top, any probes where I have Imperial units. So maybe Dagobah is in the top 8, and then he would have to give it to me. And again, I'm just trying to get this probe deck whittled down any way I can. Um, Pretty desperate. Also, now because I spent Palpatine that way, I'm behind on actions. And normally at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I want to be keeping Vader back. I want to be able to block something like a Rogue Squadron raid or a demolition. I'm thinking, hey, where can I be moving so that next turn he doesn't have any good places to build loyalty? All of that has sort of gone out the window. Now he opens up with a, or he doesn't open up, but Cassian runs an infiltrate. There we know the rebel cell is there. Um, Also because of how things have gone, so it looks like he's keeping the rebel cell. Interesting. Um, you want to be shuffling those objectives every time you infiltrate it, if I've seen them. And now here's the intercept. Uh, we'll see what we get. I'm keeping Vader back because I I don't know. I don't know where to move. I don't know where to go. So we'll see if we get anything good out of these 8 probes. 3 probes would be good. 4 or 5 would be amazing. There's a lot of places that I've moved to where I don't have the probes. I could get Ord, Mandalore, Alderaan, Dagobah, Ryloth, Geo, Moncal, Bothwy. So a lot of places. I just, I frankly don't have a lot of probes in my hand. So we'll see what we get here. Looks like I'm getting 1, 2, Alderaan, okay, and Dagobah. So that ended up working out pretty nicely. And Naboo, okay. So some of those were probably ones he saw with under the radar. So I get 3. So it's not too bad. And now the deck shuffles, and maybe we shook up some good probes to the top. You know, it's not a case where I feel like anything has been particularly unlucky on my part. It's just you need, I need with the, oh, and here's stolen plans. So Now, all of a sudden, what went from him having no idea about the objective deck and being really slow to get to the level twos, he has now seen every level two, even though he skipped two infiltrates. Um, Very unfortunate for me. That was sort of the one thing I had going for me, was that his access to powerful objectives was very limited because he hadn't been infiltrating. And so he gets the stolen plans. You hate to see it. So far this turn, him blowing up the Death Star in Bothui, terrible, terrible, terrible. Feels very unfortunate. And now getting the stolen plans on the heels of Lord Vader's orders and him not infiltrating much is a second dagger. And I'm kind of freaked out. I'm not set up well to cover raid outposts. I'm not set up well really to defend against Heart of the Empire. The Death Star is not protected at all. Fortunately, he's kind of all over the place with his fighters. He only has two fighters in the base and none to deploy. So the Death Star feels relatively safe with no 1 in a million out. And uh, and here comes my measly one probe draw. Oh, this better be a good probe. Otherwise, what a waste of an action. And it is Dathomir. Okay, didn't really expect him to be in Dathomir, but it's good to know. It's good to know. And in fact, if we could get something like a secret facility next turn, we could take out that Corvette with a TIE fighter card. So that is something to think about. Probably will not come into play. I should be stopping here for a second and going, Jin, Han, Chewie, Mothma. What missions do I think they're on? Now, because of Palpatine, I am an action behind, so there's only so much I can do. And I'm kind of frozen a little bit with Vader, but I would like to wait out. I mean, say Han is on build loyalty, and then Jin does a sabotage. So now I have really, really bad feelings about, about what Chewie's up to. Chewie can only really be on two things, and that's demolition or Wookiee uprising. And Han could be on anything. Han could be on Build Alliance, and Mothma could be on Contingency Plan. And I'm still trying to play around regional support. Um, so at this point, I think what I should definitely be doing, regardless of regional support, is building loyalty and Bothui. I need to free up those ground units. Build loyalty in Bothui because I don't have an R&D queued up. I have a build loyalty. And what is Mahdi on? Interdictor. Oh, oh. Okay. Well, yeah. Not. I think. I think part of this, how I would describe this, is me kind of trying to do everything. I'm kind of trying to like stop objectives. I'm kind of trying to build ships. I'm kind of trying to draw probes. I should really just pick one thing. Don't need to do the gather intel. Don't need to do the rule by fear. Put two leaders on the interdictor and get that card back in your hand. Really, what I should have done was take the Superstar Destroyer last turn, but here we are. And now I'm a little bit hopeless as to what to do. I'm also a little bit nervous because he still has a Moncal and a Nebulon on the queue. And if I give him a free system, like Mustafar or Kato, likely what it's going to be is Toydaria, then oh, there's the Rogue Squadron raid. Wow. And he gets rid of the interdictor. What a waste. And that's what I was saying about the Super Star Destroyer. It's immune to that. And here, I do this move. I don't know why I wouldn't rule by fear here. This is what I was thinking. This is what I was thinking. He has played Plant False Leads, an Incite Rebellion, Planned the Assault, Established Trade Relations, Stolen Plans, Rogue Squadron Raid. His missions have been so good so far. By turn 4, I'm thinking there's no way that's Demolition. That has to be Wookiee Uprising. And he is going to play Wookiee Uprising and build loyalty and Malastare to get regional. That is my guess, and I am so wrong. I'm so wrong. Oh, no, 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 no. And I don't even give him a choice of which of the two Star Destroyers to kill. I am, I should have just ruled by fear with Tarkin and Mandalore if that's what I was worried about. I didn't need to move there with Vader. Um, yeah, yeah. That would have been a good mission to block with Vader. Even it would have been worth the risk. He's got he's gonna have two Moncals and a Nebulon versus my one Star Destroyer. It's just brutal. And he chooses Kato. Now I get Yavin and Mandalore, of course. Has to be Mandalore. Um, and let's see. Yeah, let's get fed here. Simply because I have collect bounty into carbon. And blindside is going to be really good versus Chewy. And he pulls up raid outposts. And this is bad. This is worst case scenario. I can drop one on Dagobah, and this is what I'm thinking right here. I'm thinking I don't think I'm ever gonna get to Endor. Um, because Endor feels so far away. I have no assault carriers. I don't have a capital ship coming in for ages. And so my plan is taking shape. I am going to planetary Endor. And I have Dagobah with the assault carrier, so he can't hidden fleet there. And this is what I'm thinking. If he opens up with a hidden fleet on Endor, I'm not going to planetary it because I don't think he would do that if he were in Endor. But if he doesn't open up with a hidden fleet to Endor, I am going to planetary it because I feel like that makes it more likely that he is there. And he keeps going for Cato, and feel like he's going for Cato because he wants to draw me away from Endor. I don't understand why he didn't get loyalty in Toydaria. Toydaria is a really good place because he can team up those Moncals and possibly retreat them to the base with a rapid. Toydaria just seems like such the better place to get loyalty than Cato. And so I feel like the only reason he would do it in Cato is if he's in Endor. So Planetary is coming for Endor. That will have the dual purpose of checking Endor, but also covering the raid outpost. And and then just hope that he's in Endor. He has recruited Lando. So that's something that I'm gonna have to play around now too, is independent operations. It's all pretty messy. Endor, Tatooine, Kessel, Dantooine, Ilum, even Felucia. At this point, I'm wondering, is he even on Kato? Like, I just don't know. I have the probes have given me no clue. There's no Yularen. There's no Ozzel mission. I feel very in the dark about what is going on. Great. And now, because he's done stolen plans through all the level twos, who knows? Now maybe there's a Heart of the Empire coming. That would just be the icing on the cake. But yeah, I do. Last turn was, and this is the big thing too about Rebellion is I've seen players GG from this spot of just being like, it's hopeless. Look at my ships. Look at your ships. You just have to stick with it. Now my missions are really good, and they continue to be good. Um, the the getting this bounty into carbon, getting this address delays, this is all just going to help me give myself time to catch up. The issue is going to be, am I going to be able to keep up this pace of stopping his objectives? Here's another thing to think about with these missions. You could say like, well, you're equally far from Endor as you are from Kessel. Why not planetary place like Kessel? And the thing is even if I planetary Kessel, I still have to check Nalhada. So if I planetary Endor and he's not there, I can ignore that whole region. So that's another thing to think about is not just the likely base scenarios, but how can you be more economical with your movements? Now, I kept Mahdi because I'm going to play discredit. The plan is stall this game. I need time. In one thing to keep you positive, especially as the Empire, is time is can be an asset when when the rebels are running hot. Plant false leads, plan the assault, demo, rogue squadron raid, stolen plans. These are good combat cards. There's becoming less and less and less that I have to play around. You want to play around maybe around public uprising. You definitely want to play around some objectives. I'm not too worried about the Death Star. So there are some silver linings here that there's really just only so many more ways he can mess with me. Just gonna waste a card here. Um, I'm wondering maybe this is uh, there's a, I'm starting to think about, no, he could have scored cut supply lines last turn. So yeah, so I'm not worried about cut supply lines because he had it last turn with Megiddo, Bothawi, but for some reason I'm thinking, oh, maybe cut supply lines. So the plan ultimately is we'll draw out Chewy here because I'm running all the fist missions. Uh, last turn was his time, and now this is my time to run all of the fist missions and leave Cassian to his own devices. I'm still running Gather Intel. That's that might just be out of stubbornness. There's no reason for me to run Gather Intel here. Oh, I'm not running Gather Intel, excuse me. I'm running no starting missions. Okay. And so this is another thing. For all of the extra moves I've done in the Ord Megiddo region, he's done just as many. And his actions are a little more vital at this point because it's causing him to not be able to block any of my missions. And so I definitely think, and here I'm going to run this. on Moncal for a couple of reasons. I'm setting up to collect bounty on Lando because I don't want Lando running around playing independent operations. So if there's any chance for me to take him out of the game, maybe he hasn't been lucky enough to get any rescues. Because after this turn, he's only going to have two or three or four non-starting missions in hand. So Lando is a really good target here. Let's get an extra little green fist on him and uh, and shake things up here a bit with some carbon, some planetary. And now remember, he hasn't done a hidden fleet yet in Endor. And every second that goes by where he doesn't do a hidden fleet, it feels more and more and more like Endor is a possibility. Infiltrate. Now he knows those two objectives. I wonder if he needed to infiltrate. If they're two good objectives, maybe pass on an infiltrate and keep Leia back to block something. Um, yeah, I don't know what objectives those are, but sometimes it can feel bad to infiltrate too much. For example, I saw this in a game I watched the other day, the Rebel player. They were in the level twos and they infiltrated and then they did covert operations. And what happens then is there's really only one bad level two, and that's time for peace. And so then what happens is you're putting two objectives on the bottom to get one in hand that you know and to get a mystery one. And so the chances are high that both of those objectives you're putting on the bottom of the deck are going to be good. So what I always recommend is covert operation first, because then at least what you're doing is getting to the level threes faster and increasing the odds that if you get a bad objective, that's the only one you're putting on the bottom. And so you're getting two objectives that you know, you're getting to the level threes faster, and you're not putting yourself in a position where if you infiltrate first, maybe it's two good objectives, then you covert, it's another two good objectives, and then you get a mystery time for peace at the end of all of it. So enough dilly-dallying. We're going to go for the bounty, try and pull this off before he can stack too many leaders. Lando much higher value target than Leia at this point, and Fett does not disappoint. You know, I could have even maybe saved to draw them out, but the thing is, these are all my fist missions really. Other than a hunt them down, maybe a retrieve plans, I'm probably not going to. And here he plays prepare for battle. And now, I don't know if he had this the whole time, but you remember one of the things I had going for me was he had spent almost all of his good objectives, especially his Nebulon and his combat cards. And so prepare for battle here is a surprisingly good mission for him to get because he it doesn't isn't punished at all for using those good combat cards when he didn't have to. And on top of that, now he has Han back to do a potential block on my planetary. And so, prepare for battle doesn't always strike you on the surface. It's the same thing as stolen plans. Stolen plans can be good. It can also be a kind of a low impact play. Um, and the fact that he got it after Lord Vader's orders and not infiltrating makes it sting all the more. In the same way, getting prepared for battle when you've kind of been using your combat cards a little loosely stings just a little bit more. I think if Han ends up blocking this planetary, I'm this is probably the last you're going to hear of me. It's probably my last video. There's a lot that I don't remember about this game. I just remember it being painful for a good chunk of it. I'm assuming Jin is on a sabotage. So I'm trying to hold off on this discredit. Um, I'm also trying to at least keep some of these movements for. I don't remember during the game thinking too much about. Don't know if it's good to use Ozil for this move. Very likely he could have died there. I don't remember thinking too much in the game about this Moncal. I think I'm assuming now he's just going to rapid it back. Um, yeah. The problem is this Mandalore fleet is just frozen until maybe I should be checking Felucia. Maybe I should just be taking Megiddo back at this point. I don't really know. And I still don't know Kessel and Nalhada. And remember in Bothawi, when I had that chance in Bothawi to do Tarkin's mission, I could have had those two systems crossed off. But here I just have to use, uh, I've again put myself in a bad position where Palpatine is going to have to cover potentially multiple systems. And because he has spent one of his speeders already, I really don't want to give him a speeder. I think what I should do, and then this move to me screams I'm in indoor. So immediately I do the planetary in indoor. And I feel so confident that those units in Malastare are opening up to build alliance in Malastare, drop a Mon-Cal, and attack Solist to prevent me from getting to Endor. So I do a planetary, drop all of Bothawi because I also forgot that he could have scored cut supply lines last turn, and I want to free up Bothawi. And I realize he is not on Endor. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going. So yeah, that move to Malastare was really interesting from Toydaria because it just looked so threatening on Solist. And like he's gonna build a loyalty in Malastare, put another Mon-Cal down, and really come after my force in Solist. And it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot. He sabos. I am now free to discredit. Do that in Bothawi. And I don't know, man. Discredit's been getting some, costing some, and he rolls the double sabers. So, man, we're setting up for a long game. Well, so this is what I mean, where I have time on my side. I'm weathering these rough missions, these bad probes. Um, I commiserate with him because I think the last two times I rolled for discredit, it was one was Tarkin and one was tag on it, and I rolled sabers both times. So I feel his pain. But now that he's not in Endor, I'm thinking, is he in Bespin? Where the where the heck is he? Um, and now, oh goodness. Now I'm worried. What am I worried about here? Now I'm thinking, okay, he's likely either in Kessel or Nalhada or Dantooine and Ilum. I have the Death Star to cover Dantooine and Ilum. So let me, again, try to get fancy. Uh, I really don't want him putting two Moncals together. So Palpatine maybe can come in and work some magic and maybe take out a Moncal here. He's kind of given it to me. But on top of all of that, maybe then I can get a retreat off to Bothawi because I just emptied out Bothawi of all of its ground, and now I'm realizing, holy crap, maybe that's where exactly where I need my ground forces to be. Um, So I'm just going to sit here and stew over this decision for a little bit. So here we go. We attack Malistaire. Now, he has all of his combat cards back. Um, I I don't really expect to get this Moncal. I'm kind of hoping mainly to just get a retreat off the Bothawi because I need to start getting some ships up that a ways. Um, Maybe when I planned this attack, I kind of forgot that he had his cards back. I don't know. I'm just out of sorts. He blocks 2 red hits. Probably not necessary for him. Um, I flip it here because I want him to flip it back. So now, once again, he does not have his 2 best combat cards. So he went from kind of getting bailed out with prepare for battle to now um, he's kind of right back where he started, at least as far as the space combat is concerned. But I've checked Endor, checked Malistaire, feel pretty confident the base isn't on Cato, as good as, for whatever that means. My confidence has not really gotten me anywhere so far. And then I'm just going to retreat to Bothawi, try and set up to at least check now Hutta. Should probably take that TIE fighter. No, I'm out of here. So I just circulated 1 ground force to Endor and replaced it with 1 from Solist. And I'll leave. I should definitely take that TIE fighter. No reason to leave it. And leave a trooper behind so that he can't put more units there. Doesn't get the build from it. So I've given him Cato. So now I was pretty happy about him being down to 1 speeder, and I have now blown planetary and given him another speeder. And so we get to draw some probes. Felucia, Malistaire. Felucia is not the worst thing to get. Now I can use this assault carrier to back me up in the hot region. Hmm. Trooper parade. He prevents me from getting another Star Destroyer with that blockade. Um, and I get display of power. Uh, I I wonder if I remember. This is the one thing too as the game goes on. I wonder if I even remember. I have no. I'm not building any ATSTs. I talked at the beginning of this game how easy it is for Empire to catch up on ground, and I've put myself in a position uh, with my choices to actually make that not the case. I've allowed Megiddo to stay blockaded. I've allowed Geo to stay sabotaged. I've really not, I was saying last turn I should have run an R&D. That should have been a rule by fear R&D in Bothawi to free up that system to check Nalhada, but also to get the yellow circle there. So feeling pretty weak in all respects. My what's helping me out here is him running out of missions, but also he's been deploying so much stuff out on the map. He's lost a Nebulon. He's lost several fighters. Here he's going to lose unless he rapids these back, but I think I probably put this Star Destroyer down in Solist. Maybe I do it in Coruscant. So he's going to continue to bleed away these units. It looks like he's building a bit of a Death Star killing force, but I'm still not too worried about it. There's no 1 in a million, and there's not going to be too many fighters coming in. I would be more worried if he were deploying these fighters in the base, but he has an X-Wing out on the map that he didn't really need. He lost a Y-Wing last turn, and now this U-Wing and Kato are all units that... Interesting. Why not Stormtrooper? Maybe I don't want it to, whoever moves there to die. I don't think he's in Kato. Um, but again, I'm asking for him to just kill my Star Destroyer. I think this is what I'm thinking. I think this is why I did the Star Destroyer and the TIE Fighter there. Because I am, my biggest concern with this Mon Cal is I don't want it rapiding back to base, which at this point is probably Dantooine or Kessel or Ilum. I don't want it rapiding back to base. And so I'm going to use this Star Destroyer to attack it and force him to send a leader. I think that's my thought. Now, of course, last turn, I could have taken out the Corvette. I think it would have benefited him actually to retreat the Corvette. Um, he could have even done that with the Mon Cal and Toydaria, with the two fighters. And then his base would be, after this next deploy, would be two Mon Cals, a Nebulon, and two more fighters than he has right now. Uh, and that would be very, very formidable for anything that I can squeak out. Um, that's something I notice a lot with Rebel players is, yeah, your Moncals and fighters on the board can cause a headache, but if I'm able to stall the game out like this, if I'm able to do a carbon freeze, get a discredit, make sure that you're not scoring objectives, eventually I will find your base. I will Liam Neeson. I will find you, and what does he say? I will hurt you. I will find you. And when that time comes, you want to make sure that your base is nigh impregnable. And and I think he could have had that if he had rapided back that Mon Cal and those two fighters. It also would have put me in a position where it would have taken me a lot longer to get to Nal Hutta. So I'm just gonna run all the starting missions. Riken and Jin. Surely that's a rapid. Double rapid. And again, maybe I'm lucky. Maybe he hasn't gotten a rescue. He's played almost all of his missions, so maybe there's not a rescue in there. Riken's gonna do the gather intel, or sorry, Fett. Fett should probably be doing the capture because he has Chewie back, and Fett has blindside. So Yeah, uh, don't know why that is happening. It feels like so he decides to move, and this befuddles me in the moment. I really don't know what he's doing. It kind of frees me up to not have to attack that Monkel. Although maybe I should have attacked that Monkel. Gather intel. I'm just praying. El Hada. Okay. So we get an El Hada. Okay. I wonder why I still haven't gotten an assault carrier. I still haven't moved to Toydaria. I don't think I've built an assault carrier all game. And now I'm in trouble. um, Now I'm in trouble. I'm not thinking quite about what this means. He's bringing way too much stuff. This is he just needs two troopers because I think he's trying to win a ground battle in a subjugated system or a battle in a subjugated system. Leave your speeder in the base. You got another speeder on the queue. You can have a pretty good ground force in the base, but I am not thinking about the information that I have and what might be taking place here. And because I have no assault carriers, once he frees up places like this, he probably didn't have to move Chewie here first. There's probably no way I'm ever going to try and block Han on this mission. Blank. Um, I hope he doesn't. Yeah. Okay. So he's back to normal. He, yeah. I think he could have. I don't think he needed the move with Chewie there in the Mon Cal. Um, yeah, I'm a little bit unsure. Display. Okay. So display in Kato to check it, um, which means what? What does it mean? I don't really like that move. I didn't really think, did I really think he was in Kato? I don't know. I know he has regional. I know he has regional. Um, I'm starting to get like anxious here just seeing I can't believe and he had, and he has the good rescue. He has the good rescue and I have nobody to block it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And the warning signs are there now, watching it all unfold. He has lead the strike team and for the greater good. Um, so he takes that back. And now again, from Lord Vader's orders, if we remember back, the level two that we saw was Rebel Cell, and I kind of have forgotten that information. And so he almost goes to draw an objective, then he stops himself and he's like, okay, where am I gonna build loyalty? First, oh, okay, he builds loyalty with Leia. What is Mothma on? Oh goodness. Is that contingency? So I'm not thinking about it, but worst case scenario with this rescue here is, and now I don't know what I should be doing. I don't know what I should be doing, but if I did remember at a certain point in this game, I remembered Rebel Cell and I thought to myself, there's nothing I can do about it. I have to win the game before I lose the game to Rebel Cell. No, no, no. We drew Nalhada, so now we move to Toydaria. It keeps us from being um, in the fringes of the map, but we're making our way toward Kessel, and then we have to make our way toward Dantooine. And now he does, for the greater good, I have nobody to block. Not only does he draw an objective, not only is that objective Rebel Cell, but he has a great place to put it in Naboo. Now, even if it wasn't a great place, see, if he only had two troopers there, I only have two troopers I can deploy next turn. So without the Mon Cal there, without the speeder and the Vanguard there, he can still probably hold it. He could get a hit and run. He could deploy those two troopers he has on the queue there. So I did think he overcommitted with Chewie and the Mon Cal and then the speeder. And it's these little, because his missions have been so dang good and my probes have been so bad, I need these little overcommitments from him to keep me in the game. Now, I am bringing just a Star Destroyer because I don't want the Death Star to die. Is that why? I don't know. Maybe I end up bringing it. And remember, I need the Death Star to because if he is in Kessel, I probably need the Death Star to go that way. Regardless, here we are. The Death Star has made its way toward Dantooine. I hope he's in Dantooine or Ilum. Cancels. Okay. And what I was saying was I need to take advantage of these moments where there's little like, okay, he spent his good combat cards. Okay, prepare for battle, got him back. Okay, let me try to get him to play the good combat cards again. And okay, he's brought too much stuff in the lead the strike team. So I have to use these moments to try and find little advantages and little cracks in the armor. Because right now Piotr he's not only getting good missions, he's using them perfectly, I would say. I really don't think he's chosen like a bad system or made a bad choice with the missions. Like even just then, waiting till he had the right system set in Naboo with all of the pieces before doing the rescue. I think a lot of other players might have gotten um, impatient, but he took his time, he did it, and he's capitalizing on the opportunities that the missions give him. So here we are. The stage is set. I feel pretty good, all things said. I have it narrowed down to three systems. I have a sizable force outside of two of those systems, and he has to score one, two, three, four, five, six, probably seven objective points. Surely, surely he can't score seven objective points in the next, what, one turn? Maybe two turns? Now, the issue, and I maybe should have thought about this, a little bit more with bringing the Death Star down to Megiddo is bad, 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 bad. I should definitely take Construct Factory here. I'm desperate for units. I'm desperate to get rid of some of these sabotages, like the one in Seleucami. Um, I don't know why I did an R&D right here. Um, I wished I had waited to build alliance in Seleucami, and it's contingency. Oh man. Oh man. Wow. Wow, wow. I think at this point in the game, I was actually a little numb to it. I was going, okay, continues, okay, greater good. Okay, lead the strike team into rebel cell. Um, for example, I don't know if how long he had lead the strike team, but the fact that he chose to do it to free up Naboo, to open up for rebel cell, instead of doing it, for example, in Dagobah to get a raid outpost. I think that's a really good play. I think that's definitely the right play. And that can be one of the tough things about Rebels is you're only really limited by your creativity. There's always so many things you can do. And then he goes for Solist. Oof. Oof. I think that's about the point when I resign myself that, well, first of all, that wouldn't have happened if I had put a trooper there. But second of all, I'm starting to think, okay, I am never going to take up that rebel cell. Um, which in a way is fine if I can finish out the game. So here's what we do. We go to Mustafar. Definitely, okay. So now I'm worried about something like Raid Imperial Factory, and I don't want to give him an easy score in Solus, but he has an easy score in Geonosis and in Utapau. So I don't know why I didn't just move the Star Destroyer to Malastare and leave a TIE fighter behind. Um, and then he brings back the U-Wing, Pathui and Endor, and he brings back the U-Wing from Cato. So, so now I'm thinking, okay, I've checked Malastare, so none of those shenanigans. He gets regional support with the cell. And surely my Death Star is okay, right? With no 1 in a million and no Nebulon card. I don't think I was as observant. Maybe I was. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty convinced he is in Kessel because you never use the Nebulon card when the Death Star is headed your way. So maybe what I should have done last turn is build alliance in Toydaria because of Lando. I've forgotten about Lando. I think what happened was when I captured him last turn, I said to myself, okay, Lando's no longer a problem, and did not readjust my calculations when he got rescued. So I'm pretty sure anyway he's in Kessel. I would like to not. Hmm. Maybe I should put the AT down there. Yeah, okay. Not too worried about the ground in his base because the ground is one trooper. But I am looking like I'm gonna Ozzel Kessel at this juncture. I'm worried about decisive victory on Geo. I'm worried about Imperial Factory on Geo or Utapau. There's just so many objectives now. And this is where you can kind of get a little bit of false confidence as the Empire because the rebels can really fire these off pretty quickly if they do get some good, some of those good objectives. And plus, with the rebel cell, he could have decisive victory into raid Imperial Factory and then discard his other one, and then all of a sudden he only has to score one more objective if I don't kill him this turn. Um, the issue with the position I've left myself in is that if he is in Kessel and I Ozzle it, where do I go now? Uh, if I don't kill his space, which I probably won't kill his space completely, then what do I do next turn? I mean, if Toydaria gets sabotaged and I can't deploy there, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. It just makes me wish that I had done display of power in Kessel instead of Cato. Because sure, I denied him a loyalty. I think that's what it was. I think I should have done the display in Kessel because it's so isolated and sabotaged all around it. And Cato, eventually, I'm going to deploy. I have Alderaan, I have Malistaire, I had Solist, I have Rhodia. I have, three systems all kind of around there where I can deploy. And he's got 3 leaders back, right? Did he say he's set? So I just got to pull the trigger here. And catch them by surprising Kessel. And I don't know if I want him to be there. I think I don't. I think I really want him to be in Dantooine and just really want him to be in Dantooine. I don't know why I wouldn't bring. I mean, if he has Incite Rebellion, he could take out Toydaria anyway. Um, and he is in Kessel. So yeah, here we go, folks. We gotta. I mean, in Ozzel we trust, right? Oh man, we'll see if Ozzel can do some damage. I think what he's saying that he messed up. I think the implication here is he should have Landoed. And boy, if he had Landoed, yeah, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. But it might end up being 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Because now he still has Lando. So I still have to play around it somehow. Because The nice thing though is he can't block red hits, and I'm about to get back to my really good cards. He should probably black block hits with the transport card. He gains a trooper. Okay. And let's try and whittle him down here. Okay. Probably don't want to stick around too long. Maybe cycle cards. Maybe cycle my cards and then get out. Goodness. That 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 feels bad. I mean, the greens you don't really expect to get hits. They're two-thirds misses. Um, he should have sent Dodana. Dodana's been the crack shot this game. I think I should stay again in space and cycle. Gonna blow up the Vanguard, make sure you can't get another crit. And because I have all my cards back now, I can start spending some good ones. Okay. Okie dokie. He's lucky he didn't get a miss there. Um, so we have the base blockaded. I think I should do another round. I mean, I don't expect him to be able to get four red hits. Yeah, let's cycle. Let's see what we can do. I'm okay with that. I'd rather he do that now than with a nice, nice. Should roll a black. Reroll a black too. Okay. So we get rid of the Nebulon, we get rid of the Ewing. He's down to one Moncal in the base, and he can't deploy there because he is blockaded. So that's the problem too with so many green dice is you don't they're just blanks a lot of the times. Greens are blanks. You should probably reroll the black. You got a crit anyway. Holy cow! That that's I forgot that happened. Forgot that happened. Man. Uh, okay. Maybe I should have re-rolled both reds. Wow. I'm kind of speechless. That seemed, I guess that seemed pretty likely with the, no. So that was a blunder. I guess in hindsight, I don't know. I was trying to cycle my cards. I didn't really think that that was a blunder. I think it's actually with the damage card. I think it's pretty, and him rolling second. I think it's pretty likely that he kills my Star Destroyer. My bad. My bad. So, okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Um, gather intel, probably not useful. I need to free up Seleucami. I need to build alliance in Toydaria. So now I'm trying to Lando proof everything. I'm thinking if I have the ground taken care of, so the Lando becomes less of an issue. So because his ground is blockaded in his base, Lando shouldn't be a problem. So as long as I can deploy this, get the assault carrier to Seleucami and deploy a Star Destroyer either in Seleucami or Toydaria, I should be okay. I should be okay. I just have to subvert the Build Alliance in Nal Hutta. I need to subvert the Build Alliance in Nal Hutta, and I have put Fett on subversion. Um, I don't think I need to address delays. I don't. So maybe I'm putting Fett on subversion to stop the Sabo, but if I have an R&D, a rule by fear, and a construct factory, then the Sabo's not an issue. Just a lot of mistakes. Yeah, I get rid of the address delays. Smart. I really should be putting the Emperor on subversion. Okie dokie. I can't believe I lost that Star Destroyer. Yeah, that seemed like a pretty big blunder on my part. I guess. Um, oh yeah, oh yeah. Didn't even think about this. And in the commentary and in the game. Oh yeah, he's gonna have a ton of ground units. So now it's looking like why did I move to Malastare and not attack that Mon Cal from Solist? Um, because I didn't think about him just being able to move over for the raid outpost. That's why. So now what was I at? I was at DEF CON 2. Now it's DEF CON. Wait, DEF CON 1 is the highest? I'm really, really panicking because, it's two parts. Not only is he scoring points, but I'm realizing how many mistakes I'm making. I'm not covering the raid outpost. I'm I let his Mon Cal sit there. I didn't subjugate, or I didn't blockade Naboo. I lost the Star Destroyer with Ozzel, and now all of a sudden, him getting all of these points. I'm not putting Palpatine on subversion, and now all of a sudden it's looking. Yes, I did. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 points minus two. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Um, man. Plus with that, wow, 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 wow. Goodness gracious. And again, I'm not worried about the ground. I'm a little bit worried because he, remember, he got Moncal back with plant false leads and he put it at the bottom. So he knows Moncal's still in the deck. It was after intercept, it was before intercept transmission, but I still haven't drawn it. So I'll leave the ATST behind so that I can. And here's where Palpatine should be subverting. Uh, and he has public uprising. This is what Palpatine should be subverting. Oh, it's hard to imagine the perfect setup that I have With the base blockaded, all I have to do is win ground, and now he has public uprising. And the only thing that would make this worse is if he had liberation or crippling blow, because then he gets an objective point from it too. But the only thing I really had going for me, and he has the tow cables. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah. Probably should have done a black damage. Okay. Oof. So he has freed his base. It's no longer sabotage. He's going to get more units, and now he can build alliance there and deploy. And he has crippling blow. Guys, guys. So what I should be doing here is, again, could have had another trooper in there, but I left him in Toydaria. This is all wrong. No, 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 no. I should be ruling by fear. I have Vader on rule by fear. I should have Vader should rule by fear in because what I'm thinking now is a two-prong attack. I want to put the Star Destroyer in Toydaria, but he has Lando. And again, I don't think I'm thinking about Lando. So I need to put all of my oh, I'm an idiot. Now I can't because he's freed the ground. So I can't go all in. I'm toast. There's no way. There's no way I can win this because I only have one loyalty mission. And if I build loyalty in Toydaria and put the Star Destroyer there, then he can Lando in Seleucami and then attack out onto the Star Destroyer. And he has another rescue. So I can't even. Man. You ever have those games as rebels where like a leader will get captured turn two and you never draw a rescue the whole game? And then there's those other games where like the Empire doesn't even ever try to capture you and you draw like your first four missions, three of them are rescues. Part of it is just the timing of everything. It feels like he is seeing how my turn plays out and then going back in time and changing his mission so that it's just perfect. And part of that is when he played, like, I don't know, it was so good for him to hold on to the public uprising until that situation. Like, he could have just opened up with it somewhere to guarantee the score. But instead, it's like, okay, wait until the base is secured, use it to free the base to make sure everything is copacetic. I don't know. He's just he's kicking my butt, really. And now I don't really see a path to victory. Because what I imagine is I'm going to put the Star Destroyer in Toydaria, he'll Lando in Seleucami, and then attack Toydaria and take out that Star Destroyer, and then I won't have any ground. And if Palpatine had been on Subversion, I could have subverted the could have subverted the Public Uprising. Goodness gracious me. I think you want to rule by fear here in Seleucami, right? You rule by fear in Seleucami. You put the Star Destroyer and an AT-AT there. That's the play. That's where you're strongest. You might not need to send a leader. That's the play for sure. We'll see what I do. We'll see how I bungle this. And see what the rebels sell, because I committed the Death Star to Megiddo, it's not even, the Death Star could be in Seleucami right now. But it's not even, oh, oh, Palpatine is hanging. Why? Why? What am I worried about? If he blocks the rule by fear, it doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter. Again, I should have been holding on to the construct factory for exactly this moment. Ooh, okay. Man. Yeah, this was a poorly played turn by me. He definitely spanked me this turn. And I've been in his position as a rebel, where you have these raid outposts, you have a lot of units out on the map, and I've completely forgotten about everything. And so it's good on him that he's being mindful of all of the possibilities of like, hey, for the cost of Rican moving this Moncal over, I can score a point. And here we are, folks. It's looking like the last turn. I still don't have Dantooine or Ilum. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Um, so we can, so he puts the speeder in base with a U-wing. Hmm. I'm thinking maybe I can buy myself some time if I can take up this raid out, this, whatchamacallit. We'll see which objective he discards. Ooh, he had that in hand. Wow. So maybe I got lucky that I didn't have Emperor on Subversion because the em- that's probably what he was waiting to use Mothma's mission with, or a public uprising, and I didn't give it to him by not. If Palpatine had been on Subversion and failed, whew, that would have been bad. But now look at this. Now I'm really worried because because he discarded Return of the Jedi and kept the other level one. Remember, he didn't infiltrate turn one or turn two. And so far, he's ended up with regional support, crippling blow, and rebel assault. And now he has discarded Return of the Jedi over his other level one. That's got to be decisive victory, right? Maybe it's support of the Hutts, but what could that other level one be? Threaten the core? He did kind of seem to be going for threaten the core, but you still then discard that and keep Return of the Jedi. At this point, I'm so flummoxed, I don't know if I'm playing around really anything. I'm not really sure, because I played that last turn so badly, I'm not really sure how to go about deploying. I think I do, I just don't have enough ground if I don't split my deploy between Toydaria and Seleucami. But I also want to, I'm starting to think, hey, maybe there's a world, again, he's played tow cables, he's played Vanguard card, right? Maybe there is a world where I can take out this rebel cell. Just gotta hope he doesn't have a hit and run. Which, of course, he has a hit and run. Why would, you know, one, two, three, four. So he has four non-starting missions. Statistically, those should be two rescues and two hidden fleets, or a rescue, a hidden fleet, and a misdirect. I'm just hoping it's something worthless. But I'm starting to think here, okay, my only I don't think I can win this turn, so I have to pick up Rebel Cell. But I want to pick it up as skimpily as possible because I want to put him in a bad position for how to defend his base. Because if I can weather this turn and survive the first action of next turn, I think I can win. I think I can win. I think he should have put at least one more trooper with the cell. Yeah, and here comes the Lando. And I go, aha, this is my chance to take cell. So I get free reinforcements on cell. And here I'm just complaining. Oh yeah, oh no. I'm not, I'm saying um because he didn't Lando last turn, it gave him a chance to score crippling blow in the perfect way. And so it actually kind of worked out for him because he has Lando for this turn to make it impossible for me to win this turn. And he was able to still keep the base free for deployment. So this is one of those rare cases where I was saying earlier, sometimes as the Empire, you just have to weather the good missions. You just have to weather, the bad probes. And this is kind of one of those rare instances where it never really stopped. Look at these objectives we've seen. Rebel Cell, Return of the Jedi, this raid outposts, and now I think he's right. He needs to Lando here, but it's just unfortunate that now it's going to give me a big enough force to take Cell. Because if I take Cell and I can stop him from scoring, then I can get another crack at the base. I just really need him to not have hit and run. He has three hidden fleets, two hit and runs, two more rescues. So I think probability wise, he's just as likely to be full up on hidden fleets as he is to have a hit and run. I'm starting to wish I had brought, I'm starting to wish that I had brought, I'm realizing I left a shield bunker um, on the gray area. A little bit too late to deploy it. And now I'm scrambling a little bit. I don't know what I need with the address delays. Maybe I'm hoping for another ATST. I need an ATST to possibly take out this speeder. Um, but I'm at a point where if he if he has, a raid factory, and there's the hit and run. Probably should block that with FET, right? Probably should block that with FET. Maybe I'm trying to block. It might not be terrible to block the infiltrate. So here we're going to take up the cell. This is vital. Um, we just straight up lose. And I should be taking everything. Because I really don't want to give him an easy raid factory target. Um, Although he has one in, no, he doesn't. He could still do his last Insight Rebellion in Solist or in Geo. So if I took the last trooper from Solist, then I could retreat to Geo and make sure that he cannot score it there. So that's a mistake, leaving that trooper in Solist. And he's sending Han to this, so this is no, okay. I realize. Uh, now I'm letting him score raid factory with the transport from Corellia. Okay, should have just brought everything. Yeah, I don't know why I was so intent on covering Solus. Maybe I don't have that probe. I started with guys in Solus, so it's a starting system. Anyway, um, so it's all just going to come down to the ground battle. He flips back. Interesting. That was really good combat card play by him. And then we blank. Okay. So we got enough damage, I think, to take everything out. And then Han is the one who whiffed versus Ozzel massively. So maybe Han will give us another whiffaroo. And he sort of does. He sort of does. That's what we like to see. Oh, okay. So that's kind of what we needed. We've bought ourselves potentially some time. We need to. Now's the moment, whereas the Empire, you rack your brain. Okay, what is every possible level 3? What is every possible? That's why I should have brought that striker from Solist. First of all, it would have made this fight a lot easier. And here we go. We're going to reinforce Geo so that he can't get a raid Imperial factory. And remember, it's not just this turn, but if he infiltrates this turn and gets it next turn, he can score it to open up next turn to the same effect. But because we left that striker in Solist, now he can score it just as easily. So We got rid of the rebel cell, but as far as defending raid factory, we've not accomplished that at all. We're just gonna have to cross our fingers that he doesn't get it. Um, and then of course there's Jin, and I think at this point I've forgotten that there's still a raid outpost up in Endor, and I was talking to Piotr about this, but with these long games now we're going on to hour 3, and in these long games it's just too much to keep track of, too much to think of, too much to consider. You know what I should have done with Fett? I should have put him on capture so that I could capture Lando and then rule by fear easier in Toydaria. I think that would have been a smarter play. Um, yeah, I don't know. And so there's all these things you got to think about. Okay, every possible level 3, every possible level 1. There might be a decisive victory. Is, if it is a decisive victory, maybe he's kicking himself for not opening up and scoring that in Geo because he opened up with the hit and run. Maybe, oh, you know what? We just built. Maybe what he should have done was deploy a Y wing in Naboo and open up with an attack on Solus and that just hope that your this this might be a mistake here by me. I'm hoping to kill this Mon Cal or to scare it off, but I'm allowing him to cycle into his good cards. No crit. So it's dead. It's dead. This could be huge. And it's dead. Now I should stay. I should for sure stay. And I'm thinking about not staying. Why would I not stay? This is why I would not stay. I'm worried. I'm worried that if I'm not going to have enough ground. And if I put down one assault carrier and an AT-AT in Seleucami, if he gets another hit and run, I just lose. I haven't gotten any of my trade negotiations. I can't take Toydaria or Nalhada. So I actually think it's right to retreat, unfortunately. Unfortunately. I also don't want him to build alliance on Seleucami and then sabotage it. I think that might even be a bigger concern because if he builds alliance and then sabotages it, I also lose. What a terrible spot. It's also kind of one of those situations where you try to play around as many things as you can, but at the end of the day, there's just going to be things that you can't. There's just going to be things that you can't. the hope here too is if I can prevent the sabotage and if he can sabotage in Seleucami and oh no, he already sabotaged in Toydaria. Hmm. Maybe he should have, instead of doing that sabotage, maybe he should have built alliance first in Seleucami, and then he could have sabotaged there on top of Chewie. That might have been good. Because now, with the Oversea project, I can just dump some units in Seleucami. And now that I have Fett back and Palpatine in the system, I feel pretty confident that I can keep it secure. And so maybe what I use Fett for is to block and infiltrate. Because it could be vital not giving him a good objective. If he is infiltrating, he should be infiltrating because he's one good objective away from winning. He can win here with major victory, raid Imperial factory. We'll see what he decides to do. He incites rebellion. Man. No, I think Naboo is probably the best place to do it. Maybe he wants to be able to deploy closer to the base, but I feel like Naboo just gives him, like if he does get major victory, he can put those U-Wings down in Naboo and then hope to pick off that Star Destroyer. You know, that could be a good play. But he goes for Malice there. Maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. So that's fine. Blows up a trooper. I mean, I don't think there's any objective you can score that's a level 1 or a level 3, but now I'm relieved that I get to drop this AT-AT here. And the AT, and I need more ground. The ground here is going to be vital. And he builds Alliance in Bespin, and I go, wait a second. Wait a second. I have a raid outpost, and this is when I remember the raid outpost. And I'm looking at the queue, and he has a U-Wing and a trooper, and he has a card that if he retreats any units, he picks up a target marker. And I start going, holy crap, I'm in trouble. He is going to win next turn no matter what I do. And so I go, he can't, I gotta pray that he rolls blanks. I can't believe. And she gets a 1. And so now I am toast. I am realizing just how toast I am. Because he has that U-Wing card that he can put the U-Wing there. And here I'm searching. Please, please, please play the U-Wing card. And I realize it's the only card left. So I lose. I'm freaking out. I love it when you can see my cursor moving faster and I check my missions. Hey, did any of these missions change to something that wins? And so here I decide I have to do a ground combat. I can save myself. If I do a ground combat, I can get him to waste his U-Wing card. And he's already played Prepare for Battle. There's nothing really he can do. I can make sure that this Rogue Squadron card is taken out of commission. And frankly, save myself an embarrassing loss after 3 hours. I'm trying to save my damage cards. And managed to take out the trooper. Get rid of that pesky Ewing card. So all you people sleeping on the Ewing card, it almost just cost me the game. And that's really the perfect situation because what I should have done last turn was put that shield bunker down on indoor. And if that's the case, then I can, you know, start deploying some space there and make sure that the Ewing doesn't survive. But as it stood, he made a really smart play to recognize what was going on. And now I'm building alliance. I'm ruling by fear here for really no good reason. And so he's saying he shouldn't have done the Insight Rebellion because it would have given him a buffer card. Possibly, then I just, try to, yeah, I don't know what I do then. Maybe I just try to re-roll the black on the last combat so that he has to spend both cards. Um, I don't know. I'm still worried about Raid Factory. Um, so I'm just trying to get rid of this sabotage. I think Piotr at this point is frustrated that he did that Insight Rebellion for to not really gain anything, and it kind of cost him the ability to use that combat card, which I feel is pain. It's I've made probably more mistakes than him in this game just because of the length and all of the different details going on. I don't think there's anything here for Rican to do. He could move this transport. And because he didn't infiltrate, now he's in a position where he could, there could be an Inspire Sympathy, a Death Star Plans, Uprising. There could be any number of unfortunate um, objectives waiting for him. Just hoping. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. If he had established outposts, and yeah, I'm saying, hey man, you could get Raid Factory here. You could get Major Victory and give yourself a chance. Um, Still no Dantling, still no Ilum. I'm gonna put an ATST. Yeah, um, ATST. He's wearing his heart on his sleeve. I don't blame him. What a long game. Hope you guys are still sticking around. This one was really stressful to play, but pretty fun to commentate. I played it like 2 weeks ago, and so I forgot a lot of the stuff I did. And it's funny going back on it and realizing at the time, how did this get away from me so badly? And so it's fun to be able to go back and sort of talk through it, think through it, and go, oh, okay, I see what I did. I see where I made that mistake. I see what happened. Um, and now, because I got Rebel Cell, and because he wasn't able to score any objective, we're in a position where he there's a chance where even if I don't win this turn, I could still possibly win next turn if the level threes just aren't cooperating. But this is also another time where I think had he done one or two infiltrates the last two turns, the chances are he would have gotten one of those better level threes. The level three objectives are interesting. They can be very powerful. They can, Return of the Jedi, getting them, they can catch a lot by surprise. And especially Raid Factor and Major Victory are super difficult to play around. But then they're kind of like at their highest, they're like the level twos, but then at their lowest, they're like the level ones, where a late game Show No Fear, a late game Uprising, when I play Propaganda turn one and have blocked two of your loyalty attempts, and it's just you've already used trade relations and contingency plan. It's like, okay, that's never going to happen. You can get in those situations with the level threes. And so similar to the level ones, it's a little counterintuitive, but if you don't already have a hand of good objectives close to the end of the game, you really got to keep infiltrating through the level threes. Um, and stolen plans sometimes can halt that because after a stolen plans, you don't always want to infiltrate, and then you get into the level threes, and you're like, oh, there's other stuff I want to do. But when you can, if you can, you want to continue to infiltrate because if he's drawing Inspire Sympathy and Uprising and Show No Fear at this point, it'll cost you the game. The last thing you want to see is to flip over your next level three and go, oh, there's a raid factory. If I had infiltrated last turn, I would have won. That's the last thing you want to see. So it looks like there's not much missions he can do, but he does pretty good maneuver to attack out, use this U-wing to its fullest extent. I don't know if maybe it'd be better to have all of these on defense. Um, I don't know. It's a long shot. But sometimes it's just always better to be on defense because your heels can do something. I guess it's nice that he knows, oof, oh, this could get ugly real quick. I think the heel's pretty nice. Oh, he was trying to get a hit to take out the ATST. Gotcha. Gotcha. I don't roll a heel, so don't have hunt them down, so it's gonna be. Luckily, I still have bombardment. Bombardment's gonna be the key. Then we'll let Veers finish it off. Um, yeah, and fortunately, I don't need to. Almost made a mistake there by not bringing the Star Destroyer. Fortunately, even if he wipes my ground, I'll still be okay because I have the space. As long as I wipe his ground. So toward the end of this game, I don't know. I hope you guys made it this far. This was quite a beast. It really was very well played by Piotr. I think he did a good job of taking advantage of my mistakes. He got in my head. He pushed me around the map and really made good use of these good missions that he got. Took advantage of the fact that I was kind of frozen with my movements. And it really just kind of came down to there at the end, like one little, I start getting nervous that it's all falling apart. Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, I think he can heal a trooper. Probably want to heal a trooper, not a vanguard, so you can. He's got support of the. He's got hold them back too, right? I'm starting to get nervous. Um, this is the but I think he could have healed one of them. But yeah, he's probably frustrated, especially because he, was kicking himself for that Insight Rebellion, which was really the only glaring mistake he made. I think, you could argue, and here are these objectives. Decisive victory. He had a chance to score it in Geo. Um, man, he had a chance to score in Geo. But yeah, so he didn't infiltrate turn one, and that's what his objectives were. The only time he infiltrated was when it was defend the people versus regional. And then the bottom four probes, Tatooine, Dantooine, Ilum, and Hoth. So, it's interesting. Even if he had done a rapid last turn, he could have made it to Hoth and put me in a really bad position because I would have had to cover three systems. So, yeah, so I mean, there's definitely some things he could have done. It was a long game, and he definitely was kicking my butt. I think he definitely deserved to win as far as who played the best. But just came down to almost even being able to take advantage of that independent operation with Lando to get the cell. I don't think I pick up the cell without those extra ground units. So really fun battle. I hope him and I get a chance to do it again. I think we played again after this with different sides. I'm not sure, but yeah, thanks to my opponent. Thanks to you guys. I hope you were able to stick it out through this one. And I'll catch you on the next one, which will be decisively shorter. But have a good one.